We're in Philadelphia, and about 10 people came to see the movie. It's a little bit of a bummer.
But one of them is a very high profile vampire.
But one of them is a vampire.
A very high profile.
A very high profile vampire, so that's very good.
It's Mother's Day.
It's Mother's Day, which is
raining.
Rough. It's raining.
It's cold out.
Good husband.
Yeah.
And it's like...
We found a great parking spot.
We found a great
in the middle of Philadelphia with an RV.
Yeah.
So we may have used up all of our,
all of our good
luck
on
that.
I usually hate rom-coms, but Bite Me did the trick.
It was really wholesome and warming, and it was actually really nice. It was cute.
We just gotta keep going at it. I mean, you know.
Well, we have no option.
That's right.
We are in an RV.
What?
I'd say that was a pretty neat display of prejudice.
In the shower, I was just thinking, like, what a privilege this whole thing is. Like, it's so insane. Like, what an insane thing to do. But also, like...
Yes, it's insane.
But also, who gets to do this, you know? Like in last night, there were, like, 8 people, 10 people, but, like, also, we got to show our movie to those 10 people and, like, be there and talk to them about it and hear what they thought, and, like, that's incredible. I mean, that's why you make movies. So, yeah. Okay, this is gonna work. I should give them all a free pin. I just want them to leave happy.
Yeah, sure. Well, give them the pink and pins. Let's see if we can get video.
Okay. So that you don't think that we're dingbats for thinking that we can make $1 million on this movie $1,000 a week at a time, I'd love to explain to you what the financial strategy and model is for this movie. So basically, there's a 2-pronged approach. The Joyful Vampire Tour of America, that in and of itself is not going to make that much money. I mean, relatively speaking, because we're doing 51 screenings, but they're relatively small theaters. We may or may not fill all of the seats that are available, and even if we did, the sort of maximum amount that we could make from ticket sales is about $40,000. So even if we sold out every screening on the tour, we would make about $40,000. However, it has a number of ancillary benefits, right? Because one of the problems of releasing your film digitally is that there's sort of like the big week when it gets released and you have things to talk about and hopefully you get reviews and like people post and it's exciting, but then there's nothing else to say. And so in terms of driving sales, it's really, really hard because you basically get 1 week or at most a couple of weeks to like make a splash and get people to pay attention. And that's not enough to build the kind of momentum or attention that you need to actually make any kind of real money on digital sales. So one of the core principles of the Joyful Vampire Tour is that the fact that we are on tour for 3 months living in an RV literally gives us many new things to talk about every single day for 3 months related to the movie. Secondly, it gives us continuing press opportunities for 3 months, right? Which is huge. And because we're going to be in different locations, it gives us different local press opportunities. So we don't just have to swing for the big national publications, which are super hard to get. It also, because we're giving so many people a really special in-person experience, they're way more likely to post and repost on social media and actually go tell their friends to watch the movie. So there's sort of that organic social media growth. There's obviously the docu-series, which is a huge and awesome piece of this, that gives people a way to follow the tour and get super excited after we've been there or before we get there, and also it gives them a way to stay engaged with the film past the point of actually watching it. Then there's the fact that we're literally driving an RV around the country for 3 months with our website and poster on the side, and like, we've only had the decals on for a couple of days and already a bunch of people have stopped and been like, what's this Bite Me movie? And then taken a card and been like, oh, I'll watch this tonight. Or like, we're driving down the highway and people are taking pictures of, so like that in and of itself is a huge thing. So although the tour isn't making that much money and cannot make that much money, it's sort of the thing that will allow us, hopefully, this is the theory, to catalyze everything else and sort of give us the time and content and means to really catalyze a much bigger thing in our second revenue model, which is hopefully where we'll make our real money. So the second prong of this is digital sales. And the beauty of digital sales is that it's infinitely scalable, right? There are only so many vampire balls and screenings I can personally go to, but an infinite number of people can buy the film online. So those sales are going to be driven through all of the things I just mentioned with the Joyful Vampire Tour. But the second thing, and the really critical thing, is that we are doing a paid ad spend on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to drive those online sales. And you can say with incredible specificity, like, I want this ad to show up in women's news feeds who are between the ages of 25 and 45 who say they like Harry Potter. So we are spending $20,000, and through that ad spend, we will reach approximately 18 million people. That is a knowable thing. So then the question is, okay, well, how many of those people will click on the thing? As a general marker, if on Facebook 5% of the people who see that ad click through, that's like, great, the ad is working, 5%. But we ran tests on our ad before the tour started, and we got a click-through rate of between 17.1 and 17.8%, which was like, I was like dancing around my apartment when I found this out, because that is a huge deal. So then the question is, once the person has gotten to that page, how likely are they to then take the step of actually buying the thing? So if it's a ticket, if it's an online download, whatever. And in normal funnel marketing, you count on 5% of the people clicking through and about 3% of the people buying it. So my assumption is that because our click-through rate is higher, it is likely that our buy-through rate will also be higher. And this may not be true, but this is my estimate. If the ad gets in front of 18 million people, that means that 3 million people roughly will click on the ad. And about 350,000 people will buy the film in some format, if it's a ticket or a download or whatever. So if you take that 350,000 estimate and sort of even it out across different platforms, whether they rent or buy or watch on Seed and Spark where we make more money, or if it's on iTunes and Amazon, whatever, we make $1,619,000 in digital sales. Now the $1.5 million question is whether or not that conversion works. So then there's the merchandise question, which is basically impossible to calculate. I took a random shot in the dark and said that I think that 8% of people who watch the film in some form will also buy a piece of merchandise. Maybe that's true. It could be more. It could be a lot less. We have no idea. But I needed something, and there's nothing to base it on, so I took a guess. So my estimates for the way that this will break down is that we will make about $35,000 in ticket sales from the tour. We will make about $160,000 in merchandise sales, both in person and online. And we will make $1,619,000 from digital sales. which would get us well over the 1 million mark.
I was super nervous when they all sat down, and I was like, oh my god, this is the wrong demographic for this movie, but they loved it.
They were little old ladies. I mean, they're sweetest, wonderful.
Yeah.
I just love the fact that each screening had just such a different
It's gonna
energy
be
about it.
It's gonna be totally different every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really cool how the energy of the vampire balls modulates too, based on who's there. Like last night, like in New York, they were really explosive, and everybody was like, the energy was so high, and it was like sort of a. And then last night it was like super mellow, and people were just like sitting down and having like really deep conversations, and like being very thoughtful about their rhinestones and tattoos and like what they were gonna decide to get. And it was a totally different thing. It was really nice.
I feel like we're finally winning. I feel like this is going to be okay, and like more than okay. Like we woke up and we had coffee. It just like it finally feels like the world's not ending. And like this is actually going to be really fun. It would help if it would stop raining.
Fun with the movie. I think as somebody who's part of the vampire subculture, it was entertaining to see someone who had clearly done her research lovingly sort of point out some of the foibles of a few of our more theatrical and dramatic members, but also at the same time to show respect to the subculture and to explicitly state in the movie that people who are part of it aren't just vampires or black or gay or Lithuanian or whatever, that we're all multifaceted individuals and that we all are more than just a single aspect of our personality. I have teeth, as you might have noticed. I got them done in the mid-90s, 1996. So I've had them for a very long time, and I've enjoyed them. They've served me well, and they just feel like they've always been there.
Welcome to the Acme Screening Room in beautiful Lambertville, New Jersey. The Acme is actually housed in our local courthouse. So from Monday through Friday, it's the courthouse. Some people come here for not too pleasant reasons. And then on the weekend, we turn it into an independent movie theater Friday through Sunday, every weekend of the year, where people do enjoy coming to the courthouse.
Renee sent me an email, and I sent it to Elizabeth, and I said, we've got to support this. So,
Thank you for coming.
When did you discover that you were a vampire?
I had my vampiric awakening. Awakening is the term that we use in the community. When I was 15 years old. And like any 15-year-old, I ran off like an asshole with that. No 15-year-old is smart or well prepared for the world, but when you throw in that little bit of, esoteric discovery of self, then that really muddles things even farther. And when I was 15 years old, that was the first moment that I had that. And as I grew older and wiser and did a whole bunch of back and forth and denial of what that was, after running around like an asshole with it, I came to terms with myself and with what that should be, and really researched it and put it to page, and found that it was something not only deeply personal for me, but for a lot of other people across the United States and across the world. And people like Michel Belanger, who wrote the incredible Psychic Vampire Codex, really put it into words that I hadn't even discovered for myself yet. And finding all of this information opened up a whole new doorway for me on what I felt about vampirism, what it was, what it could be, and then I dedicated myself to being the best vampire that I could be.
I think you're a mighty fine vampire.
Why, thank you, sir.
But I think that experience is very similar for lots of us who live alternative lifestyles in one way or the other. When you're a teenager and you start to realize, like, I'm not like these other people in this town. For me, it took running away from home and discovering the goth scene in New York City, and you find a like-minded group of people who love and respect you for who you are.
Yep. And it seems like you went through a lot of the same things in Jersey that I went through back home in Texas, and we've compared notes, and
I'm glad we found our broods.
Absolutely. And to any of you out there who are still looking, just know that it's okay that it takes time, and it's okay to feel what you feel, and just keep doing and keep being you.
Whether you're 15 or 52, go out there and find your tribe.
Absolutely. Cheers. Not over.